Thank you very, very much, my very good friend Amos. Let me first of all, my very good friend Amos, let me first of all say good afternoon to the distinguished CEOs here, some of our market leaders, like the way you said, the InfoWare, some of your competitors. I don't see them as competitors, see them as collaborators
Exactly.
for the growth of our market.
Exactly.
And to say that I'm proud of all our local service providers for what we have done over the years, especially the consistency that Programos have shown for over 30 years. So members of the capital market community, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to join you today and delighted to welcome you all to this CEO's Programos CEO's Executive Virtual Workshop. And I would like to begin by congratulating my very good friend, Amos in particular, and Programos Software Group in general on the remarkable milestone of the 30 years anniversary. Like Amos have said at the beginning, today the main reason is for the service providers to speak with the leadership, our role as CEOs, so that we know exactly what is being expected for us. I know that we are all very busy executive, but it's important that we know where we are and where we are heading to, what we need to do to make some enforcement with our compliance officers, with our IT officers in our offices, because the service providers cannot enforce. So today is not about IT, it's not about issue of the compliance officer, it's about the CEOs. So 3 decades of sustained relevance in technology of Programos is no small achievement. It reflects resilience, innovation, and an enduring commitment to supporting the growth of Nigeria's capital market. I commend Amos, the entire leadership team, and everyone who has contributed to this journey. Across the world, the capital markets are undergoing profound transformation. Artificial intelligence, automation, cloud technologies, data analytics, cybersecurity are no longer emerging trends. They have become fundamental drivers of how markets operate, how institutions manage risks, and how investors assess opportunities. For us, the market operators, the conversation is no longer whether technology should be adopted. The real question is how quickly organizations can adopt while preserving the integrity, transparency, and trust upon which every successful capital market depends. As leaders, we are all called upon to strike the right balance between innovation and responsibility. While technology can significantly improve efficiency, speed, and customer experience, it must always be underpinned by sound governance, effective controls, and robust risk management. Innovation delivers its greatest value when it strengthens confidence rather than compromises it. At Nigeria Exchange Group, we have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of technology in expanding our market access, improving operational efficiency, and enhancing the overall investor experience and confidence. Initiatives such as our digital capital raising through the NGS Invest and our continued investment in market infrastructure reflect our conviction that technology is indispensable to building deeper, more competitive, and more inclusive capital markets. However, technology alone does not transform institutions. Leadership does. As chief executives, the responsibility rests with us to cultivate organizations that are agile enough to embrace change, disciplined enough to manage emerging risks, and visionary enough to anticipate the opportunities of tomorrow. The quality of our leadership will determine whether technology becomes merely a tool or a genuine catalyst for sustainable growth. That is why conversations such as this are so valuable. They provide an opportunity for market leaders to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and collectively prepare for the future of our industry. As Nigeria continues its journey towards becoming one of Africa's leading investment destinations, collaboration between technology providers like Programos, market operators like us, regulators like our SEC and our NGS RECO, and industry leaders will be essential. No single institution can drive this transformation alone. Progress will depend on the strength of our partnerships and our shared commitment to innovation, resilience, and market development. I therefore encourage every participant today to engage actively in our discussions, ask the difficult questions, and consider how the insights shared can be translated into practical actions within our organizations. Once again, I congratulate my very good friend, the chief software architect, Amos Emmanuel, and the Programos subgroup on the 30 years of excellence, and to thank you for the innovation. And I wish us all a productive and insightful workshop. Thank you very much, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so very much, dear. Thank you so very much, Dr. Umaru Kwairanga, President NGX Group. In fact, I'm actually so happy every time you've been at several of my events in the past, whether local, whether in you of course together. Know in Nigeria there's nothing I can do anywhere internationally.
At the United Nations,
OCAM as an institution commends you so highly.
We are proud of you.
Even in my role as the World Summit Awards National Expert for Nigeria in volunteerism for 17 years, the world is happy about the growth of the Nigerian capital market. So thank you ladies and gentlemen. And maybe if I may just hear, let me just know which houses are with me. I can see Madam Mrs. Mafolabi. Please just introduce yourself mildly while I just pick on my paper. Let's say hi to the president.
Bolaji Afolabi, Nene, and who again? Yes, I can see her. I can see Bolaji raising her hand.
Yes, yes. The floor is yours, madam.
I can see Dave Enejo. I can say Ken Obo, Moses,
yes.
Nene,
Yes,
HP.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
you. You know, sometimes they don't want us to see their beautiful faces. Yes, so we can hear the sweet voices. If we cannot even see the beautiful faces. Me and Amos have shown our faces.
Please,
how ugly our faces are. Well done, HP. Well done, Ken Obo.
Yeah, please, just a brief introduction. So I'll just get to you. I'm so happy. I'm happy to have you around. And in fact, this great honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Amos, Alaji Kwairanga, good afternoon. This is Mrs. Dada.
Mrs. Dada. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.
I'm so grateful. I just never got it from Nene.
I'm so sorry I came in late.
Before you sound a word, Madam, before you sound a word, I want to tell the world, Prominent Securities and Mrs. Modupe Dada was my #1 client after the automated trading system in 1997. And I'm so proud of her to be here at this session of my 30th language. Madam, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Amos. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank
my
you,
able chairman, we appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very, very much, Dada. We are together. We are together.
We are blessed to have you.
Thank you very much. We don't have option. We have to push this market.
Yes.
I was at the London Stock Exchange last week. The first question they asked me, what are you doing at the Nigerian Stock Exchange that is different?
Yes.
I told that Oyibo man, I said, thank God that today nobody is asking about the challenges in Nigeria. People are trying to copy what we are doing in Nigeria.
Yes.
So I'm proud of all of you. It's a collective work. We must move this market forward.
Yes. Well, I thank God. I thank God for you, sir.
Yes.
Really.
Thank you, madam. Please, can we take another one, another message? Mr. Ken?
Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir, for joining us. It's an honor to be here. So, I was interested in what you just said. So, who was the person asking you about what we're doing as the stock exchange and in the trading?
They were last week. If you have seen the papers, we were at the London Stock Exchange. So I was on a panel at the London Stock Exchange. So one of the first questions the moderator asked me, he said, what is Nigerian Stock Exchange doing that is different, that you have not turned around this institution within 3 years?
Wow.
I said, first of all, before I answer you, let me say thank God that today people are not talking about negative things about Nigeria. People are talking about positives. And people are talking positive about the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That's why when this FTSE brought under their paper, when we sat down with them, I said, let's be on the same level. T+1 is being operated in US, is being operated in Malaysia, is being operated in other jurisdictions. What is different from us? So Nigeria cannot achieve that within that short period. Is that what you are saying? If you are operating those markets, what is different from here? I say, okay, we have implemented, it's working, come and join us so that we can move forward. Today, our market is 80% local, 20% foreign.
Wow.
Well, we want you foreign investors to come in, but we are not relying on you people going forward.
Yes.
Our pension for the operators have reached a level whereby we can sustain our market. We have the highest returns of investment all over the world.
Yes. In
come
fact,
and join us.
We beat even South Korea in July.
Correct. So we talk, they all kept quiet. I said, let's hear your concerns. T1 has come to stay. We are going to move forward. And with the software providers like Amos and the rest, it's just a matter of time. We can compete with any other market in this world.
Thank you so very much. Yes, in fact, I think we want to continue like that. We won't. All right. So please, before any other comments, I think let me just take the floor and share my message for all of you. The videos will be available. Will be available on all our channels, and let me just take this position to channel some efforts towards the direction of today's workshop. And please permit me to share my screen again. In doing so, I once again thank the President NGX for his support always. And let me confirm if you can see my screen. Right. So this today, when we talk about quantum shift, what it is, the reason why I had to give my application quantum is because today, if you look backwards, people have been to the moon. They never actually use our BRT nature buses to travel to the moon. You understand? It was actually a major leap. It was actually a quick leap. It was a fast one. And today, the Nigerian capital market shifted. It not just that today, it has started to shift many times ago, a long time ago. But at the same time, quite so much is there for every chief executive, particularly. And why my reason for chief executive is because you lead that organization. So many things actually happen under you. And it is important you are on top of things, on top of the game. Now, as things even shift, we're going to sense that it's not just about your work. The technology is there. Do you know that even the technology even needs the internet to shift? You know, the internet itself that we are banking on has, in fact, it's shifted. Let me not say it's shifting. It's actually shifted. That today I'm happy to be the CDO, that's the Chief Data Officer for the Africa Cybersecurity Task Force, which some of the founders were supposed to join me here today. And what that simply tells us is that even the internet protocol that we used to have before, which was common as IPv4, has lost all its addresses. So IPv6 is now available. This IPv6 is now calling for additional, attention. So much to expect with the IPv6. And this technology is brand new. It's not as if it's new. Several ecosystems and economies have actually imbibed this technology. And look at us as the capital market. All the things like what has it cost us to come up with our new version this year, we had to leverage the IPv6 technology going forward. And if you are not aware, it may not be too okay that all this is happening and you are not aware. And that is the essence of my executive briefing today. All right. One, I give credit to all my customers, everybody. I can't even list out everyone available here. Those that are available, those that can get the logos are just what we have here. And a galaxy of the rest are more of them, whether within or some other countries, I know that in the last 30 years, and my prominent securities. I'm so sorry. I didn't even put, in fact, I'll go and put it back, madam. Thank you so much. Now, for today's business, we have actually had the chairman give us the opening. We'll take some goodwill messages much later when I'm done, and the paper actually starts this way. That has been 3 decades, and within the 3 decades, there has almost been 3 eras. That era where stockbroking was sheer brick and mortar. We know what it was, a lot of paperwork. Was it just at the markets? We knew where we were, the noise we have to make to close the businesses and perhaps even now to close the deals and close the market and all that. The digital era, a lot of struggle. We've come from CloudIntegra, Integra 2000 plus, we've gone to Webstone. Now we are talking about what in this area, and now we are talking about AI-boosted processes and the quantum era. So this now calls for a lot and a market under pressure and full of opportunities. Same pressure, but look at it, full of opportunities. Under rising threats, cyber fraud increasingly targets financial platforms across every market, not only the largest institutions. Now, clients now expect instant mobile-first service. At the default, not the exception. Regulatory scrutiny is tightening across NGX members firms, with now compliance mandates arriving faster. Legacy infrastructures, strain under transactional volumes. Today we begin to see transactions like from 2,000 per day, per house. So how do you even process? Processing time, processing logic, we'll talk about it. Now, where the opportunity sits, firms that modernize now earn the trust of digitally native investors first. AI-boosted operations lower cost to serve, even as volumes keep growing. And we say that whatever we promise may not necessarily interpret into manpower increment, quite frankly, and that is the bitter truth. It's not. The logic of automation will not be by a lot of additional manpower increment, because a lot of things have changed around this. Automation compliance turns a regulatory burden into a competitive edge. Early movers set the pace, and rest market is forced to match. Now, even the internet, as we started with, beneath us is changing. The global IPv4 address space is effectively exhausted. ISPs, mobile networks, and financial infrastructure worldwide are migrating to IPv6. And this transition sits directly beneath every feature discussed today. The IPv4 today's constraint is that a finite, largely exhausted pool of global addresses. Today, there are no more. But IPv6 is now a ledger. In fact, what we used to call the superhighway was not even the superhighway, that there's something bigger and better than the superhighway we were envisioning before. So this is actually where CloudIntegra's networking layer is built within the IPv6 readiness. Okay, now IPv6 are the future of global finance. Financial institutions, mobile-first banking, stockbroking across Africa depends on every phone, wallet, and agent device, having a stable, addressable connection. Real-time payments, the CBDCs and settlements, and early mover advantage. So if you actually do not that one that actually understands this at the early stage, at this time now we're still talking about next year, stockbroking changed. It's going to be a different ballgame entirely. Even as designers, like, of course, we can never be thinking of what we are thinking now to be thinking about this in subsequent years. So the quantum shift for the quantum CloudIntegra is about the intelligence, it's about the automation, it's about the access, it's about the foundation. And do you know what we've done? If I have 10 customers, we have built a layer for all these 10 customers. What we just need to do in this meeting and in communications is just to communicate to every customer. Please, we have moved you from the brick and mortar. We've taken you to beyond where you were before. And now, if you must be that, you must be mobile enabled, you must be this enabled, you must be that enabled, and you must be at par with the foundation of IPv6. It means that we have, at this moment, we have actually factored every customer, no matter how big or small, that you have that minimum, as we're going to see very soon. Now, what's new? At a glance, the quantum impact processor, we had to go change the logic of a trade processor. Do you know that if you had a busy day of about 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 to process a trade can take you almost a whole day before now? But what we had to do with quantum computing is that it's like if you clap, so much can happen under a clap. The sound of that clap, and that is exactly the kind of things that took people to moon. It wasn't the long hours or timing of driving between one chart to get into the moon via a vehicle or something. So impact processing, what it does is that it does matrix interpretation of your business data. Your business data today, whether it's a buy, whether it's a sell, the concessions of customers, the various customer categories, whether you are individual, you are corporate, whether you are custodian, whether you are PFA, and the logic around the mathematics of the computation of your businesses, what the system does is that it first addresses and creates all these things and builds a business object around them. And when it builds a business object, it turns everything into a business matrix. And you know what? When you say start, it looks at the different journey. It does not start row by row. Instead, it prepares and produces your matrix in processing. And that is the quantum impact. That's exactly what CloudIntegra does now. So with that, we've gained a lot on time, and there is no such volume that we cannot entertain as we speak and going forward. And why I had to do this, I said I had to share with the general public, is that we begin to know what about this time is minimal. And we should also be able to prepare your mind as to what tomorrow, when you begin to see them, you can say that, oh, I had this behind, and there are already processes they're already doing. So it's not new that we have to think in this area. Now, agentic stockbroking is all there. Artificial intelligence has brought us what we call the AI agents. AI agents and agentic processes is a framework that will do your stockbroking in the manner you never imagined. You can never imagine it. But guess what? All these processes, how are you a part of it? And we'll come to that, because several of your operation requires that, and regulators have also sensed the need for you to be part of the AI-boosted processes. The next talked about closed instrument. You know, recently we had some sessions with the NGX where they were telling us about some market instruments that are closed, and the rules around these two processes. What are these rules? The exchange says that 1, 2, 3, 4 instruments are closed. Don't forget that if they are closed, it means that the access is only to privileged investors. What that simply means is that these privileged investors have to undergo some pre-qualification process. Now we have given a module that does that pre-qualification, and we to let you know. And when we're engaging the exchange, we saw that the knowledge, even at the trading license holder, was far too shallow, that they didn't even know what all that was about. So we've actually been developing, but going back to the market, they don't even understand some of these things. And that is why this market engagement, I have spent more on education this year, just because of this direction. Because if the direction is not with people who know it, who am I going to serve? And please bear with me. This is why we have been doing this, and we are still engaging from the next 2 days on operations staff. So the close area now, we now have what we call, apart from the fact that we have a new OMS, we now have a module for closed instrument pre-qualification and all that. We have the cash flow interest dispatch, we have the statement and valuation dispatch, which by the exchange rule today, all staff must get monthly statements. So that means that every time today, I need to just be sure that my customer balances are intact, and when it is end of month, I'm not going to wink. I can be sure that the customer can get a balance and is happy with it, because your business is not about you, it's actually about those customers. Now, the Quantum Stock Central mobile app is actually that infrastructure that we've actually put in place. We're happy a few houses have started, and I'm going to show you the framework of what it is. And based on the experience we've had before, newer members, when they want to start, is the time for them to kick off on the mobile is shorter, because we've gone through all the necessary rules. All we need to do to take them to the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store. And of course, all the rules as a Nigerian, you must register your corporate identity with the DONS. A DONS is an organization is where you need to be able to have that licensed. And once you have that, the Google Play Store will be able to allow you to put your store, and your customers can be able to trade from there. Then, of course, we have what we call recommendation. Please do not compare this recommendation as something that you hear some of the young Yahoo boys you hear today say that, oh, I've built an AI trader. You can sleep. I'm sure you see some of these things on the internet very soon. But sometimes for a very weak regulator, they can actually use this to hack and deal with the entire capital market ecosystem. Now, the rule is, if I need to build, for me, I have a research background in equity. And if we tap into this like we have done, and we have provided this, I'm going to partner with my clients on this product And what this simply does is that it does automatic stock record analysis, recommendations, and it does everything. And for every account that subscribes for that service, it sends them their recommendations on a daily basis and so on. Then we talk about the orders management system where they can trade on their own, and of course, something we call the data lake foundation. You see, before now, you don't forget that you pay annual market data. You have been paying annual market data, but since you know what, you have not leveraged annual market data. Let market data that you have been paying annually work for you. And that is why the Data Lake Foundation is very instrumental and available on this solution going forward. Now, the quantum impact processor, like I speak the last time, is just about the orders. It could be very, very voluminous. It says the computational core beneath everything else is on this agenda. Real-time processing replaces overnight batch. You understand? Then a faster order to confirmation cycle for every client and all that. But then the bottom line is that it turns everything into a business matrix and is able to get this done under split seconds. And you can even compare how long the old Integra was. It took the old Integra to do it, and you tell it how this processor has been able to do it under certain fewer minutes or something. Okay, then about the agentic AI that every licensed stockbroker is heading, the only question is who leads? The AI agent compliance ready client communication for human sign-off. That's why we've introduced a communication and digital marketing model. What does this do is to improve your relationship with customers. When you improve relationship with customers and you have something that works agentically with you, you realize that things are spotted. The only things you need to do is that before anything goes out of your business to the client or to the exchange or anywhere, you have to authorize them. So this is where regulation comes in, that you are actually compliance ready. Everything, though they are AI boosted, you are in the loop because you need to see so many things to approve. Certain things will never happen without you. Even up to the month-end statement dispatch, somebody somewhere there still have to do an approval. If you do not approval and something has been scheduled, there's a time the thing is going to expire unless you reschedule them. So this is not to take you out of the loop. There must always be that you are in the business of that. Then about the closed instrument, I spoke about the pre-qualification. A part of your OMS should be able to give management the opportunity for you to pre-qualify your customers, because the exchange will actually fine you if you have your customers trade on closed instruments openly without you having to validate their access to such things. So these have been some of the rules that I'm sure the exchange has said he's also been communicating with brokers over. And more is on statements and valuation report auto dispatch. This will be scheduled, especially by end of months, valuations and everything. But like I said, dispatching out can be expired because we have not authorized the automatically scheduled. And that is the only thing that takes you out. The cycle closes, statement generated, and personalized dispatch because of your internal approval, which is what regulation wants. Now, the Quantum Central mobile app, like I shared the last time, is about your portfolio that is now speaking to the customer. The customer is able to, rather than talk to you every time, they have the power on their mobile phones, and they are from their portfolio, they have their statements, they have the market data, they have even recommendations where they subscribe for some of those additional services. And of course, this is just handy. And as you can see, the web application, the customer logs in there. What can he see? He knows his last balance. Yeah, he knows his last balance. Like this, my account somewhere, for instance, and I can see what is last and there and all of that. And I can do more. I can do more self-help investments, like I said. So these customers are already wealthy. They're already having a lot of knowledge about the market and, of course, about their own portfolio. So it's not about the stockbroking of yesterday anymore. And for the mobile, you realize that the customization is so handy. We used to have like 4-6 weeks of preparation, but now this has reduced to almost 2 weeks from the point of commissioning. And you can actually, your customers can log in. When they log in, they can have their portfolio profile. They can have their portfolio valued screen. And of course, they have a place for trading. Very, very, very simple, straightforward. You can pick on a stock and trade them. These are mobile now, linking with your existing quantum, whatever from the back office, but somebody is downloading and trading. This is actually what anybody wants to see. Your statements in terms of, you can see your fund, you can see all your buys, you can see all your sales, you can see all other debits, and you can fund your account and continue with trading. And we have provided for Flutterwave implementation, Paystack implementation, and you can actually do interbank transfer to your own client's deposit, customer deposit account. And once they do, they send an evidence, and that's the only one that can take like 24, 48 hours for you to be able to credit, because somebody has to intervene to do that manually at the back office, particularly in the account. But for the Flutterwave and the Paystack, he pays right away. Once we get the notification that the Paystack gateway has said is successful, you don't have there's no conflict. You can credit and can keep trading. And it's so simple. Then the data lake is there with a lot of information about the current day's trading sessions, the current depth of the market, the news of the market, and so on. So the news of the market, and of course, the order book where things have been logged, the pending things, the things traded, and things that they have canceled. So the stock trading, stock model, the mobile app is actually an independent, but then a very available mobile app to available on iOS and Android. And like I said, it now takes almost about 2 weeks, provided you have gotten your registration with the DUNS and getting your numbering and getting your account with the Play Store done. And those things are a lot quicker than the numerous weeks that we have done, because we are currently implementing live for Dumbbell Securities currently. Now, the bulk recommendation, market data analyze recommendations generated, and you have to approve what has been recommended, because those things don't just get over fixed. Once they are recommended, they'll get onto the OMS of the house. It must be that the valid licensed stockbroker of the firm will see your recommendation. So your recommendation does not ride straight into fix. It must be approved by the licensed broker of that firm. And this is actually the change and the caution sometimes regulators need to begin to see about some of these implementations of just any fintech application and all that. New order management, and you get to see that there's so much around the logic of your two-step authentication and authorization. And like in the mobile app, just as it is in the whatever anybody logs into your application, you can actually have a global multi-factor authentication via an email, via SMS or WhatsApp, and all these three factors are available, whether from the web channel or from the mobile channel. And the data lake is purely about the entire data that links up with the entire compliance, the mobile, the cash flow, the statements, the OMS itself. And when I say the data lake, that is your real market data from the NGX. And that itself needs protection. It has a lot of discipline and is able to speak from the data in many ways. Okay, authorization layers tightened and end-to-end inflows, outflows, cross-disk, and overdraft risk. Sometimes even you as MDs, you just call the accountant, please, can you let this account fly? 1 million, 2 million, but the man doesn't have an account, or perhaps even the position is in the red. You know that the accounts will not actually fly. But guess what? We want a face behind the risk. I'm not saying don't take a risk, but as an MD, you have a place to book the risk, and the accountsman can go and take the instruction, and the application will not stop him from doing so. But then, if we are just doing it outside where we can manage our risk, that is where you have exposed yourself unduly, and you perhaps do not want that to work for you. And that is the more reason why sometimes we speak with junior staff people, they say, oh, the MD asked me to do so. But guess what? If that the MD said it, must be that would have been best that the MD has put the risk even in the application so that the accountant can go to work. We realize that putting a face to the risk has been the problem of so many crises that we have had in the past. That we have this record in some years back of this institution, and this what this actually really cost was enormous. Now, also in the Knight Capital case, we also had that situation. This paper will be available for everybody, so that it's very clear that you must make sure if there's going to be any risk, I need to know the face behind the risk, and that's all. Now, regulators are already responding, but guess what? Are they doing all that is expected? We are also engaging to ensure that this is, so that you can actually look beyond that the technology is doing this, but enough of the people. Like I had a quantum shift conference recently at the Oriental Hotel, and luckily we had SEC. We had not SEC particularly, but NCC were actually available. As a regulator, they need to know the reason why. They need to be very involved to understanding why applications need to do certain things within the ecosystem that we find ourselves. The standard and the market should expect. What should the market expect? Regulators are already moving, that I'm sure. Clients are already expecting this. And of course, the early movers of what I'm talking about are those that will stand out. Now, for us, in our past, we've done quite a lot. I know, if you remember, in our foundation projects in the past, some of those young people that we used to train, whom we have done that for in Nigeria, in Ghana, and all of that, do you know that some of them are actually CEOs of stockbroking firms today? Some of them have moved from capital market to others, and we're happy that we've used our foundation to build that across the country. And here I have Olajide Phillips. That's the World Summit Award winner and representative for Nigeria this year, who was in Vienna just 2 months ago to get the award for Nigeria. And we have been refining all our technical support flow. What you see us do is that we operate a very straightforward technical support workflow. If this fails, then there's no other thing. And we've been refining and refining and plugging this to these new changes, and we have never fallen foul of what we need to do with any client. And that's why you find us, we are not in court with any client for 30 years. Okay? And some of our efforts has been recognized in some of our what we've done, as you can see in the Global Network of Integrated Community that was released by OCAM at the United Nations. You can see Programos from Africa for what we have done, and we give God the glory that we left those indelible impacts in there, and we're still doing it. And we've actually intervened in different places, at the University of Lagos, at universities generally, even as at the Institute of Information, as a fellow of that foundation. Anything artificial intelligence for me, which is an interest area for mentorship, I do this long in many phases. We've actually done this across the University of Lagos with the Vice Chancellor there, and we just make sure that to say that at this time it is a time to move, and not that we are just planning to move. So if I say you must be here, that is just where we must be, and it shouldn't just be about thinking it must be peanuts, We have also shifted from that point, and I'm happy to say that Programos currently, in the last 2-3 years, has been run by my son, Moses Oluwatowu. And of course, I've been supervising, and we've not had it any better than any better time, because Nigeria and its environment can be very, very tough. I think at this point, I say thank you so very much, and I'll just stop my presentation at this point. And your comments and words of support will be helpful. And my chairman, sir, thank you so very much once again.